Welcome to the Life by Design podcast, where Jessilyn and Brian Persson, struggling to align your financial goals or confidently invest in real estate as a couple?
That's why we created this podcast and the Riches, Relationships, and Real Estate program to help you build wealth and strengthen your relationship. Visit weekendwealth.ca to take our quiz and discover your real estate investor type. Let's create the life you deserve together.
In today's world, it's easy to get caught in the grind, chasing success, meeting deadlines, and pushing harder every day. But what happens when the constant hustle starts costing us our health, happiness, and clarity? In this episode, we're diving into the real connection between stress, burnout, and financial well-being, and how to design a sustainable wealth plan that supports your life instead of draining it. Because true wealth isn't just about the numbers in your bank account, it's about energy, peace, and purpose that lasts. So today we want to talk about a few different ideas and share stories of what we've been through, because we definitely have experienced some of this throughout our lifetime, and we realized the cost of what it took to our health, and we want to share that with our audience.
Right. You've experienced burnout. I've experienced many different symptoms of burnout, maybe not quite burnout in the health way that you experienced it, but we definitely are experienced with what sometimes not paying attention to yourself, whether it's emotionally or financially or when it comes to your health, can cost you when you're kind of asleep at the wheel and you're not really taking care of yourself.
Yeah, so the hidden cost of hustle. That's the first one we're going to touch on today, how stress and burnout, it can derail your financial goals, and you sometimes don't even realize it till it's too late.
Nope.
You know, there's this big myth, especially here in Canada, probably the States and some other countries, where the grind culture, you just got to go, you know, put in 10 hours, 12 hours a day, and thinking you can do that onward and upwards for decades on end, and not realizing when you're young and full of energy, you can do it, but you don't realize what that's doing for your future body.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the choose your hard.
Yeah.
So you can choose your hard, as in you can work out today so that you don't have to be going to the doctor every other day when you're older. That's one of those ways that you can choose your hard. Eat healthy today so that you don't have to deal with all the health issues that you would be experiencing later on in life. And you can also manage your time and your energy today so that you don't have to experience the stresses that would have caused you in that burnout scenario.
Yeah, that's tough. Manage, you say your time, your deliverables, but if that's not how we're raised and how we're taught, that's a hard lesson to try and learn. And I know that because that's how I grew up on the farm. Like, it was always go, go, go. My mom to this day, almost 70, still go, 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 even though her health isn't there to support her to do that. She tries and does not connect the dots that when she's suddenly out for 3 weeks, several times a year, if she maybe didn't push as hard during those other times, she wouldn't be down as long. And I mean, I had that until my burnout in 2019. And I can't say I don't default. I do. There's this year I had a lot of stacked deliverables come my way and a lot of asks from work, and it took me a little time to realize that I'd lost my boundaries. I'd let them go. And I had to learn to kind of push back. And the funny thing is, the one I had to push back on was me. It wasn't my clients. It was me thinking I had to deliver more. And you were the one who's had several conversations with me to say, like, Jess, like, whose expectations are these? Are they yours, or are they actually your clients or your bosses? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I hate to break it to everybody, but more often than not, the source of all your problems is you.
It's true.
Yeah, and in your case, Jess, you were, as you said, you went to the default of your way of being.
Yeah,
and that is, I must have everything done, and I must have everything perfect. And for me, on the looking in from the outside, going, no, you you have 5 different roles, like you basically have 5 different full-time jobs, and the people around you know that you have these roles. Like, they have to come back. They also have to come to reality along with you, in that 5 full-time jobs all having to get done at the same time is not possible. And so ultimately you tried to deny that.
Because I'm superhuman.
Yeah. and it started to affect your health. And then you're like, okay, wait a minute. Is there a different way that I can be in order to actually achieve what I want to achieve? And you did discover that. And sometimes that looks like maybe not doing the same thing that you did before. You know the saying, if you want to achieve something different, you have to do something different.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to touch on some of those takeaways and things I had to learn. I think a little bit more in the third point of this discussion, because yeah, it is not easy. But coming back to the hidden cost of hustle, I mean, there are practical ways to pause and realign. You know, whether it's setting rest goals, you know, or downtime, personal time, whatever you want to call it. I know moms in particular struggle with this concept, especially even working moms, because now they're working full-time during the day, and being a mom can be full-time as well, with getting kids to school, sports, planning it all, appointments, doctors, you know, dental, all that stuff, and taking care of the house, the groceries, the cooking, the cleaning. Like, it's a full-time job, and then you're working a career full-time as well, and never mind the volunteer that women tend to do. We just go until we just burn out, and we don't think to put half an hour on a Sunday away from everything.
Or more than half an hour.
Yeah, sorry, I said half an hour. I meant half a day. And not necessarily on a Sunday. It could be 2 hours on a Saturday, but like to do something we enjoy. And I know for years I carried the guilt of like, oh, I can't do that for me. I got to spend time with my husband. I got to spend time with my boys. And then I just learned like, nope, I am a better human being all around when I step away and do something I enjoy just for me, whether it's reading a book. You know, we always hear, read a book, take a bath, meditate, and those are all great things. But if you just like to go peruse and shop somewhere for a couple hours, go to a coffee shop with a girlfriend, if you like to bake, or if you have a hobby, a craft you like to do, that's you time. Take it.
There's many different ways to fulfill yourself, for sure. Yeah, they don't have to look like sitting on the couch and staring at a wall to try and get some, air quotes, rest.
Yeah.
But more often than not, the rest that you're looking for is not intentional either. So you end up reactively saying, basically just having a fit and saying, that's it, I'm done, and like I'm not doing this anymore, and then like you rest.
Yeah.
But that's very close to burnout. Like it's you've just mentally broke before your brain actually broke, and so like you have made the conscious decision to stop, but like again, it's reactive. You need to have intentional rest. And I mean, I'm bad for this, you know. It's way too easy to just say what's next, right? And you're just looking for the next thing to get done. And then you forget to, like for me, play Minecraft with my kids, you know, and you forget to go and on a bike ride or a walk or whatever you want to do that's intentional. And unless you set that time intentionally, it basically will never happen. And the reward and the rest that comes with the intentional setting of that time is significantly more valuable than if you just reactively try to find some rest somewhere.
Yeah, and be okay with owning your time and saying no within that frame. So if you book time, a great example. The other night I was reading, and you came in because you're looking for some cable and to connect my computer and my monitor that we bought 5 years ago. And I'm just looking at you, kind of like in my head, I'm going, I'm reading, and I didn't say anything. And you're like, do you know where it could be? And so I recommended a couple spots. You're like, I looked there, and I could tell you were determined to find this thing. Finally, I looked at you, and I'm like, I will look for it tomorrow. I am reading.
Yeah.
You got the hint, you left, and you let me read. But right, like a lot of times we'll actually be like, oh, we'll feel obligated. Okay, I'll get up and I'm going to start looking around for this thing. And it's like, no, you intentionally set time to read, to relax. It was right before bed, so it was later in the evening. And as long as you know you're fulfilling it either way, because the next day we brought up the conversation, like, what is this thing you need me to look for, kind of thing, and where could it be? But just own that if you took a space and it's yours, anyone who interrupts it, let them kindly know that is your time. You will help them when your time is done.
Yeah, you need to protect the space that you've created.
Yeah.
And on the front end of that, you need to protect the ability to make that decision as well.
Yes.
So it's too easy for you to feel guilt, and it's too easy for you to say like, well, you know, I don't know what this is going to look like if I take some time off, or if I do this thing for myself. We're really hard on ourselves generally, and it's very, very hard for us to like actually intentionally, purposely take that time off to get that rest that we need, because maybe we feel like we're going to look bad if we do that. Maybe we feel like, you know, that space could have been used for something productive. Well, guess what? Like if you can get twice the amount of productivity outside of that rest, like after the rest that you've actually successfully got, then guess what? You just earned the time back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But if you're producing half as much because you're exhausted and you're tired and you can't get the work done, then you're in a deficit.
Yeah. And so rolling into the second takeaway, designing a sustainable wealth path. So we talk a lot about real estate and money and wealth from that form. But I'm not sure we always talk. I mean, we do definitely loop in some ideas of values, but the money that aligns with your life, your values, and your mental health. And we talk about why we do what we're doing and our purpose behind it to give us the lifestyle we want for us and our kids and our family. But we also know part of that is our mental health because of what we've been through, right? Like there's a link between mental wellness and financial confidence, financial well-being. And if individuals can understand that, they will just progress so much further, faster. And I don't mean like hustle fast or speed. I mean like you're giving yourself the space for your health while building your wealth.
Yeah. I mean, a recent example of that is I think it was a few weeks ago now. I was just, you know, there was just thing after thing after thing, and I'm just busting through all these things that I have to get done. And I literally did not have time to think for myself in some cases. And there was this one particular rent issue on one of our buildings that I needed to solve, and I had absolutely no free time in my head to think about this. And then I went on a drive. It wasn't a very long drive, but I didn't have any music on. I didn't have any podcast going like I would normally have. And I had probably just 20 free minutes to think and let my brain just wander. And I came up with a solution in that 20 free minutes. And it was because my brain actually had the ability to just go and slow down for a second. And then boom, solution came. And the previous 3 to 4 weeks of me just in the grind and getting the next thing done and the next thing done and the next thing done gave me absolutely no mental space to be creative and think of new ideas and come up with the ultimate solution I needed for that rent problem I was experiencing.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that if you just go, you're actually working harder. Because if you take breaks, you're right, creative ideas come and other ideas come where you can sometimes solve 2 or 3 problems in one idea because you actually took the space to think it through as opposed to bulldozing and not really understanding maybe the full outcome of all of it. So yeah, definitely take breaks, whatever you're doing. And when you're feeling that overwhelm, it's time to take a break.
Yeah. And from my own personal experience, social media is not a break.
It is not a break. Oh,
games on your phone are not a break. Like there's a place and a time for them, but like you really truly need to have a break away from electronics, a break away from TV and movies. You need to go out, like you were saying earlier, and connect with friends, or go to a coffee shop and just be amongst people if you need to. Like whatever that looks like to you, to just literally maybe take a walk in nature. Like just do something that is outside of what you normally do, that is not involved with electronics, because your brain does not take a break when it comes to electronics.
Yeah. And so there's some things we've done definitely in our household, putting in some simple systems which help money management, like long terms, which helps the stress, the anxiety, the thought of it. And something as simple as automations, right?
Yeah.
Like automatically having your bills paid out of your bank account. You don't have to think about logging in, paying it, all these extra things that take up space in your everyday that you can just reduce, can just help give you that extra time to think. And again, we've already talked a little bit about boundaries. Have boundaries for everything in your relationship with your kids, with your boss, with your colleagues, with your friends, whomever. Have boundaries and stick to them. And then, of course, intentional spending. This is a good one. This is one I think far outweighs if you can actually put it in place, and too many people I think don't. So putting a plan in place, which we have, and again, like everyone, sometimes we fall off the wagon or derail from what our plan might be.
Things happen, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan for that too.
But if you have a plan and you keep to it, it gives you more time and more energy because you're not thinking about the plan. You know it. You just got to do it when it's got to be done. But there's little tricks that I know I use, and I think we talked about it. You might have even given me the idea, but like when I'm going to go buy something, it's like, do I need it or do I want it? Mm-hmm. Right? And if I don't need it, I need to really assess and be okay with no, right? Just, no, I don't need it. But if I really want it, then step away, take a 24-hour break or 2-3 day break. And we've done this with our oldest, who really wanted, I can't remember, some Lego set.
It's always Lego.
And he wanted a couple of days, and then fine. I was like, okay, I know what they are, but sit on it. You're going to sit on it for a couple of days. And he was just itching. He was upset. He wanted it so bad. And then a couple of days later, I brought it up. I'm like, okay, do you still want this? Actually, Mom, no, I changed my mind. I'm like, the teaching him that, like, sometimes you need to wait, because in the excitement of the moment, we can buy stuff we don't need, and then it's like, oh crap. Sometimes you can't return some of it, and then you have to deal with sometimes the guilt of like, oh, I shouldn't have bought that, or I didn't really have the money, or that wasn't a good use of the money, right? So taking those little breaks to see, do you really want it? And the need's a good one, because I grew up on a farm, right, with not a lot of money, and so we bought everything on sale. So I have this mindset that when I go shopping, I'm like, oh, I gotta buy it, it's on sale. And I'd be like, wait a minute, do I actually need it, or am I spending more money because I'm buying it because it's on sale? Like, I don't know if you remember, you probably do, but first how many years here we had our pantry stacked, our basement freezers stacked, and now I don't do that so much, because I would just be like,
they're still pretty full. Yeah.
Well, it's because I do cook a lot, but like I would just, it was on sale, I have to buy it. And now I'm like, no, I don't, because the odds are when I actually need it, it'll be on sale again in 3 months, right?
Yeah. And sometimes, as you pointed out the other day, you can get tricked in the sales too.
Oh yeah, I caught you on that one. Yay.
Yeah. Package of tacos for $7, and you pointed out that the larger package was actually cheaper than the sale package.
Yep.
I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even look at it. All I looked at was the sale.
Yep.
So sometimes even then you still have to be logical and consistent in your thinking.
Yep.
Yeah. And for me, that's bigger than emotional spending, is just getting consistent with your spending. When it comes to our personal finances, when it comes to our rental finances, that's one of the main reasons why I love rentals, is because the expenditures are so consistent. Like the business plan behind them is, I always know I'm going to have about this much money coming in, and I always know I'm going to have about this much money coming out or going out. And we treat our personal finances the same too. Like, we always know we got about this much coming in, this much is going out. And I don't ever have to look at the bank account and go, oh, well, this month, do I have enough money in there? Like, did I overspend this month? Because everything day to day and week to week is really, really consistent in our spending. And so I don't have to think about it. And I know there are other real estate investors out there, and I try to stray them off this path. But they will like they will review every energy bill and every invoice that comes into their portfolio before they pay it. And I'm like, that is crazy. You need to just have a plan to pay the energy bill and know that your energy bill is always going to be about this much money, and then just automate it so you never have to think about it. If at the end of the year you want to adjust things, then adjust them at that point, but create the new plan at the end of that year and be consistent with the new plan for the next year.
Right.
Yeah. The amount of time and energy that I save that would have burnt me out trying to get in all that extra administration in my personal life and in our real estate portfolio, man, I don't think I can even calculate the amount of extra energy and effort it would take me if I hadn't created the plan and just worked the plan. Yeah.
No, that absolutely makes sense. And the third takeaway we're going to talk about, and the one I said I was going to come back to earlier in this podcast, reset and rebuild. Like, I mean, you can reboot your energy and finances at any stage. And we learned this, as we noted several times in 2019 when I had severe burnout where I couldn't even work for 3 months. It's like, well, firstly, there's a hit to your finances because there was zero income coming in, at least from me. I mean, you were still working, so we were okay. But I wouldn't have been able to work. I was bedridden, right? Yep. So, and these are things we can't plan for. I didn't plan for it. I had no idea this was even going to happen, right? Lesson learned. But now that I know it and you know it, we can recognize our burnout symptoms early. Mm-hmm. Emotional, physical, financial. If I reflect back to that time, 100%, right? I was working 50-hour weeks. I have no clue what our kids did in that time because I wasn't really present. I was stressed all the time. And I do remember asking my bosses for support several times and they kept telling me no. I knew it was all there. I just didn't take steps to protect my health.
Mm-hmm. And it can also look like laziness and procrastination or distraction. Chances are if you feel that, you are spending way too much energy trying to do too little things, and you're just falling into that. I'm going to call it like a lack of clarity and purpose.
Yeah.
And because you really just don't know what you're working towards, and so when you don't know what you're working towards, you will procrastinate on what you're working towards, and because you don't really understand what the final goal is. So get clarity on your purpose and what you're actually doing with your life, your finances, and everything else, because you will find it is so much easier to work towards it when you actually understand and have a clear vision on where you're going.
Absolutely. And some other symptoms that I can speak to that you wouldn't maybe relate is hair loss, weight loss, irritability, fatigue, exhaustion, snapping at anyone and everyone, right? Like I experienced many of those things, and then it got to the more severe points of headaches and migraines and nausea. But I mean, I had the hair loss and the weight loss for some time before. And I didn't think anything of it. It's like, oh, no. Yeah, I've lost a few pounds. And when the neighbor's like, no, you've lost a lot. And I'm like, so I hopped on the scale. I was like, oh, whoops. Right? Like you're not paying attention to, and you just go. It doesn't help. But so how to set some sustainable work and income boundaries? Like, know that enough is a power word and we don't use it enough. I don't use it enough. But some great ways that I've started implementing in with my contract with my clients is what's enough, right? Mm-hmm. So there's always more work, we know that. But if say your goal or what you committed to is 8 hours a day, when your 8 hours is up, I need to look at it like, okay, I still have more on my to-do list, but that's it. Cut it off and don't go back. I used to go back to my computer and then I'd work 2 more hours before bed, right? But it's like, I don't need to. Like, if it isn't due and critical, you don't need to do overtime. Just keep that to-do list handy, and as you go through it, if there's stuff on your to-do list that's from a week ago, assess whether you actually need to do it. Maybe you don't. Just check that thing off and be like, nope, you're a no-go. I don't need to bother with you.
Yeah. More often than not, a lot of stuff on your to-do list is not critical and not important. It's just on your to-do list. So, really consider what is on your to-do list and what is actually critical and what's important and what is not critical and not important. And it is a trick, and you'll need some practice to segment that in your mind, where you can just like drop the things that are not critical and not important and not think about them, because I'm sure that's a problem for everybody here, is that we just have these things running through our head, and it takes practice to make sure that you can dump that and not actually think about it, where it won't actually be eating up all your mental resources.
Yeah, and be okay to delegate. This is what I know I sometimes struggle with at work. I mean, there are tasks that might be on your to-do list that one of your colleagues can do. Give it to them. It's okay if you give it to them. It's better. Actually, I think it's even better, because then you don't have to worry about it. But the same with at home, right? Because I know there's times where I'd working like 8-9 hours, and then like, oh my God, I got to go make dinner and I got to blah, blah, blah. No, I don't. With the strike going on right now, I'm really learning to relax and get my boys to start making lunches or making dinner. And yep, it might be the same thing over and over, and they're okay with it because that's what they can cook. But you know what? That stress isn't on me now to prep, plan, and cook and make sure they're fed. It's on them, and that gives me space to either finish the work I was doing or take a mini break for me through my day to be able to have a clear head for the afternoon or the evening, right? Same with like household stuff. Now it's like, nope, boys, you're old enough to do all the dishes, not just load and unload the dishwasher. You can wash, dry, put away. I don't care. You can do it, right? And just letting them do it, knowing that it might be a little bit of learning, but they'll get it and they'll get it done. And then it's work you and I don't have to do later.
Yep. And all you got to do is get through that guilt usually that you feel.
Yeah.
and you'll get there. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to talk about the most important takeaway from what we discussed today. I'd say mine is true wealth includes energy, peace, and time. It's incredible when you can be in a space where you're healthy and you're calm and you're just at ease with life. It's not always just about the money.
Yeah. For me, it is creating clarity and purpose so that when you're working, it doesn't feel like work.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Listen for more real estate investing stories in the next episode of the Life by Design podcast.
Before you go, don't forget to visit weekendwealth.ca to take our quiz and discover what type of real estate investor you are. We release new episodes every 2 weeks, so be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Thank you for joining us on this journey to create your life by design.
Thanks again for listening. It's been a pleasure being with you today.